It was a normal day. I was sitting in the kitchen puzzling. The phone rang, I answered it. Hello? A person hysterically crying on the phone said, I've been in a car accident. I have a broken nose and a split lip. Greg, is that you? He said, yes. He said, you need to call my lawyer. Gave me a number and a name. He said, please don't tell anybody. I said, please let me call your father, please. He said, no, please don't call Daddy, I'll explain later. He said, you need to call my lawyer, you need to get me out of here. And he gave me his telephone number and name. I called the public defender, who said he hit a pregnant woman, 8 months pregnant, and she had a broken wrist. The good thing was she didn't lose the baby, she's stable. He said in order to get him out, I needed to get $8,000. And he said it needed to be in cash. They said, don't call anybody. You can't tell anybody. Drove to the bank, got the money. Then I called back. I gave them everything they needed. He said he would see if they had a courier to pick up the money. They told me to put it into a shoebox, and the courier walked up the driveway and he took the money, threw it in the back seat, and he left. Then I waited. I thought it would take time for the judge to let my grandson out. So I waited for a little while, and I tried to call my grandson after a couple hours to reach him. I didn't reach him. He called me finally, and I said, when did you get out? And he said, what? What are you talking about? And that's when I knew. I was so emotional and shaken that I wasn't thinking at all. I lost $8,000, which was almost half of my savings.
In a nutshell, any inbound communication that tries to defraud people of money, whether that is a voice scam, which we call a phone call, which we call vishing, or it is a text message, a fraudulent text message, or a scam text message, which we call smishing, SMS phishing. They look very similar to what we've come to know in terms of email spam and phishing, but they're much more immediate, and actually there's a very tight call to action, which is why the phone is the perfect device to attack.
In 2021, the Federal Trade Commission, or FTC, received about 1.8 million fraud complaints. In about 36% of those complaints, the contact method began with a phone call. Phone scams come in many forms, but officials have categorized the most common ones: imposter scams, debt relief or credit repair scams, business and investment scams, charity scams, extended car warranties, free trials, loan scams, prize and lottery scams, and travel and timeshare scams. 82-year-old New Jersey resident Libby Moore became the target of an imposter scam in September.
Normally I don't answer the phone. This time I did. And the phone, I did not know who was on the phone. Most of the times I never answer the phone unless I know who's calling me.
Phone scams have been on the rise. As of May 2022, about 70 million Americans have fallen victim to a phone scam in the past 12 months.
So we saw an increase from $30 billion to $40 billion lost to American consumers based on phone scams. One is that it's very cheap, right? It's very cheap to set up an automatic dialer and to plug a bunch of phone numbers into it, whether they're random or they are very intentional by geography or by demographic, and place millions of phone calls in a very short period of time, because it's a numbers game, right? We know that not everybody's going to be susceptible, but you don't have to get that many. I think the second reason is that the mobile device is ubiquitous. Everybody has one, and we all spend far too much time looking at them. And that's all demographics.
You want me to buy $30,000 worth of Target cards, Mark?
You might have seen videos around the internet of content creators who are sort of scamming the scammers.
Let me get this straight. It's that if I don't get you the money today, you're gonna lose your job.
Hey, I'm Kit Boga, and I spend the majority of my time trying to convince scammers that I'm the perfect victim. In general, scam baiting is becoming the perfect target for a scammer, baiting them into believing that they should spend all of their time and effort focusing on you. These guys will make thousands of calls trying to get somebody who will say, yes, I will let you on my computer, or I will go buy gift cards, or whatever their scam is. And so my job, or a scam baiter's job, is to become that perfect victim who seems like they're going to comply with everything. But in the end, we are just collecting information and reporting it to like fraud professionals or otherwise wasting their time. Almost every scammer that I've talked to will give some sense of urgency, and they will kind of make demands as if you have to respond right now, you have to listen to everything that they're saying. They'll often tell you not to hang up the phone.
No, don't.
Look, don't hang up. You have to do this right now. Don't talk to any of your family members. They're trying to take advantage of the moment.
All I heard was, you're not allowed to tell anybody. And, if I had just called one person, they could have talked me down. We could have rationalized it. I wasn't thinking at all. I was just shaken. My whole body was shaken, and I was emotional.
If they have your attention and you're trusting them, they have to make their scam happen immediately, because they know that if you hang up and talk to someone else in your family, or you stop and you start to think about what's happening, often you will realize that something doesn't add up. So yeah, a common thread is the urgency and the threats.
My job is at stake because it was my mistake. Instead of putting up the number correctly, I entered the number wrong.
Contrary to popular belief, younger Americans appear more likely to lose money to a phone scam than their older counterparts. Also, men are more likely to be scammed than women.
I do think it's a very common misconception that only the older generation gets scammed. I see it in YouTube comments or in conversations with people, but I get emails and messages probably every day of someone falling for a scam, and most of those messages are younger people, and they'll tell me their stories about whether it was a dating scam, or some of them are these tech support scams. And a common thread is they were busy, they weren't really paying attention to the script or what was going on, and they fell for it. And so I think it can happen to anyone.
And I'm surprised that young people are getting scammed, because I find that young people don't trust the way we do from my generation. I think they're less trusting.
One, they really are attached to their phones. Two, because so much of this is based on social engineering, the younger generation has exchanged convenience for privacy, and they share so much about their lives on social media that it's very easy to go in and say, okay, I know where he went to school, I know who his connections are, I know where he works, I know what he buys, right? And so if you think about the ability for social engineers to get that type of information and target individuals, it's much easier in that set.
Don't answer the phone, especially if you don't know the number. Let them leave a voicemail if you want, and you can listen to it later.
And when it comes to the texts, do not click on links that are in text messages, right? Make sure, unless you can, a very simple thing to do, if you get a text, scroll up and see if you've ever gotten a text from them before.
Ask them for a case number. If it's your credit card company and they're saying there's a problem with your credit card account, ask them for a case number, ask them for their employee ID, and hang up. And then call the number on the back of your credit card. Like, make sure that you know who you're calling. It's so easy for someone to spoof a phone number from your local police department or from your credit card company. So I try to tell people, keep that in mind.
Register with the FTC's Do Not Call list, right? Make sure that you just go to the FTC website. You'll find it very easy if you just search for Do Not Call and register with that on that list. That means nobody that doesn't have a relationship with you, that you haven't consented or given permission to call you, is supposed to be able to call you. Businesses should only be able to call you if they have a relationship with you.
We're vulnerable. I hate the thought that there are people like this in the world that would do something like this. I feel sorry for these people who do this because they are very sad human beings. No. You stay here.